Florida man does this, Florida man does that, something crazy happened in Florida. It's a way of telling a story about how crazy the stuff that always comes out of Florida is. Florida man is served 5 drinks before he realizes the bartender is a alligator, right? You don't even know if that's a real Florida man story, and that's what I'm talking about. Well, this was credited. This way of telling a story was credited to this guy, Scott Simon. And if you take one thing from this channel, like I've always said, never trust a dude, never trust anybody with 2 first names. Scott Simon butt dialed his plan to off one of his friends, to take them out. And then when they were taken out, when they were offed, the police had all the evidence they needed. Simon said on this butt dial that he planned to follow the victim home and bang, right? Case closed. So this mastermind right here, Simon, I even forgot his first name because like I said, you only get 1 first name. This mastermind in Florida paved the way for the hundreds, thousands of Florida man stories. But the legend that they created, the greatest Florida man story ever told, will be paved by this drunk driver, Matt Gaetz, when he is sworn in as the top cop, the Attorney General of the United States.
Trump is the new Adolf.
Welcome to the channel, those of you that are here, that are sticking around. I understand if you're not ready to talk about any of this yet. I spent an entire week drunk. I think I'm still hungover. But you know what? It's time to pick myself up. Might be time for you to pick yourself up too. And we should get back into this. If it's your first time here and you end up liking this video, make sure you like and subscribe. To all the members that are still around, thank you for supporting the channel. And let's get into it. Matt Gaetz' daddy bailed him out so many times, bailed him out of jail. It would have been easier on the taxpayers if they would have just built a road, especially for Matt Gaetz to drive home on. There you go. That would save a lot of the taxpayers' money and the general well-being of the community. And by Florida taxpayers, I mean me, right? You know, I'm out here in California, but how much more federal dollars can I send to that sinking, stinking state? Matthew Lewis Gaetz. It's the exact same age as me, right? And it makes me believe that on some level, nature, nurture, which one goes more to development? It makes me believe on some level, this kid, when he was a kid, he's watching 10 hours of Beavis-and-Butthead. And somehow his DNA decided that's what looks like a human, and it shaped his face into that when he was a boy. And yeah, I don't know how DNA works, so that's probably not what happened. Matthew Lewis Gaetz, MLG, Major League Glob of he snuck in after hours. After the DMV was closed, he snuck in to make fake driver's licenses for high school girls, underage girls, high school, junior high girls. So he would have an alibi if he ever got caught having sex with them. Hey, show me this ID, you know, that I made. He left that last part out. Donald Trump, who, I don't know, what did he have to pay, like $300 million for sexual assault? He looked around and he said, you know what? You know who would make the best attorney general? Someone just like me. Someone just like me and my buddy Epstein. I mean, how much of a utopia, if Trump and Barr didn't kill Epstein, would it be to have this guy be the attorney general? Epstein Island would still be open, because who would be looking into it? Not driver's license boy. He'd be on Epstein Island printing out driver's licenses so they all had alibis if they ever got busted. Everybody on this island, according to the driver's licenses, everybody on this island, 32 years old. And the last attorney general from Florida was Sports Illustrated's 1986 swimsuit model of the year. Right there, Janet Reno. Janet Reno. She graduated as a salutarian. Probably saying it wrong. I don't care. From Coral Gables Senior High School. And you know why I don't care? Because I don't know what the word salutarian means. But apparently a salutarian comes in second place to the valedictorian. And do you know who graduated valedictorian? Janet Reno? Smallest big city in the world. Do you know? Well, it was not Matt Gaetz, but, you know. But to be fair, he was so blitzed, he was so drunk out of his mind, he didn't know his dad had just rented out an arena, right? For his special boy. You'll always be my valedictorian. Now, go ahead and drive home. Go ahead and drive home by yourself so we can add 9 DUIs. Janet Reno won numerous debate championships and majored in chemistry at Cornell University, where she also became the president of the Women's Self-Government Association. Impressive. Her commitment to her studies and leadership roles helped her to earn a place at Harvard. Harvard. That place where Obama went. That place where Ted Cruz went. That place where DeSantis went. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag coming out of Harvard. She went to Harvard Law School, where she was one of only 16 women in a class of 500. And if I could do math, I would tell you what that percentage is. But I think it's somewhere around 5%. I don't know. Only 16 women in her graduating class. This is the last attorney general from Florida. Matt Gaetz, is infinitely more qualified than Janet Reno. Only 16 women, and that's where her and Gaetz intersect. That's where they become, that's the common ground they have. Because he also likes 16 women, right? 16 years old and below. Now look, this isn't my first rodeo, all right? During my first rodeo, I saw a clown get killed. And it was awesome. And this is not awesome. And there's a 50-50 chance, a 60-40 chance, a 70-30 chance that this is all a distraction, right? It's all a distraction from putting Tulsi Gabbard in for the Director of National Intelligence, a literal Russian asset, and the implementation of Project 2025. We told you it was coming, right? We told you it was coming. By Elon and Vivek, I don't care. But they made it into a Doge meme, which is hilarious. The Department of Government Efficiency, right? It's all a meme. Purging the military. Replacing the government with only loyalists to Trump. It's funny. It's funny because it's a meme. It's not serious, all right? Do you get it? And honestly, if the Department of Government Efficiency wants to get rid of something, it should get rid of old Tulsi Gabbardova. Does that sound Russian enough for that to land? They should get rid of her department, because I'll tell you what, head of national intelligence, it is by my estimation, after this past week, these past couple weeks, that there is no intelligence in this country. This could all be a distraction from healthcare being handed over to brainworms here. And if you think the Party of America, if you think everything's going to hold up and some of these more radical ones won't get in there because there's a process, right? You know, if you think the Republican Party at this point in 2024 will let a little democracy stand in their way, well, here's the Senate Majority Leader.
And finally, just back to those appointments. Do you think Matt Gaetz can get through?
Well, I don't know the answer to that just yet. I mean, obviously, as you point out, there certainly are some skeptics, but he deserves a process.
RFK Jr., do you think he can get through? Same answer?
They deserve a process.
They deserve a process.
I mean, there are nominees that the president has put forward, and you know, the Senate has the role of advise and consent under the Constitution. So
that's the role of the Senate,
and we'll proceed accordingly if
and if you were to bet that would you have to do recess appointments? You're saying yes or no? Would you say?
Well, I hate to say yes or no, because I think that's still an open question.
You're a coward.
My view is we want to do this the regular way, and give the Democrats a chance to work with us on getting people in place. And the first ones that are going to come up are the national security, and I hope the Democrats will work with us on defense and CIA and NSA and some of those, and state. But if they become obstacles and obstructionists to moving these along, I mean, we're gonna grind them out on the floor of the United States Senate. I just said we're not taking any options off the table.
Here's the problem. If you watched that and said, wow, that sounds really level-headed and fair, you know, some adults in the room for the Republican Party, that's really level-headed, that's fair. I hope the Democrats go along with it. If that's how you feel when you watch these segments on your perfectly curated channels that you don't leave your bubble for, your perfectly curated Twitter now, right? It's called X. Your perfectly curated Twitter. If that's how your brain thinks, it's because your brain has been purposely turned to mush for years, right? I mean, some of you, if you've been on this Fox News kick since the 90s, for decades, this is the end result of what Rupert Murdoch first, learned from Nixon and then promised Reagan. So mush brains out there. The morons, right? Let me just break down what the new leader of the Senate, majority leader, went through. He went from, they all deserve a chance. We're going to put up our nominees, just like the Constitution says, right? For the cabinet. That means they get voted on. They get confirmed. That was the first part. Okay, that's good. That's how it's supposed to be done. Then he went to the Democrats better do the right thing. Right? That's what he said. They better do the right thing. What his right thing is. And you know what that right thing is? If you're not just mindlessly sitting on the couch drooling, watching this guy say nothing, right? The right thing means making a pedophile an AG, an unelected billionaire in charge of gutting the government, the very regulations against him. And brainworms here, tracking your daughter's menstruation, your granddaughter's menstruation cycles. All while sending kids into school with measles, so there's an outbreak of that again, right? If you're paying attention and not just leaning back into those couch cushions to be entertained some more, those are the right things he's talking about. And from the start of the question, we're going to vote on this, we're going to go through the process. He follows up with, if they don't go along with it, we'll force them to, with recess appointments, right? The abusive Republican Party. Why do you make us hit you, America? Why won't you just do what we say? In Article 2, Section 2, it states the president shall have the power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during recess of the Senate. And spoiler alert to anyone out there, that is exactly what this fascist party is going to do. All of these people are getting in, and it's going to be by recess appointment. And you know why they're going to do it? Because this time around, there is no one to stop them. Because eggs cost $9 for 1 week. The Chud Report. Everyone that's still here, that's sticking around, thank you for being part of the channel. Anyone new that's here, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe. Because as I say, we're at the low. Maybe we're not at the lowest point. I shouldn't say we're at the lowest point. We're at one of the lowest points ever. So if you enjoy content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe. And yeah, that's all I got for you right now.
Pretty sure I called him a clown and a charlatan.
You stand by that?
Yeah.
Separate news. Sorry, one quick question. Should a clown and a charlatan run the Justice Department?
Look, obviously, the president has every right to nominate who he chooses. There will be a confirmation process. We'll let that process play it out.